NFL Wild Card Round Recap. Wild Card Round Recap. Here today. And I'll quickly go over the Divisional round games as well. A lot of tight games this weekend until, well, the last game was tight till the fourth quarter. But we'll get to that. First game here, the Rams beat the Panthers 34-31. This was a tight game pretty much the whole time. Rams came back at the end to take it. Stafford 304 yards, 3 TDs, and a pick. He sacked once. Williams 57 yards rushing. Puka has a rushing TD. Puka also has 10 catches for 111 yards and a receiving TD. Parkinson and Williams also have receiving TDs. They get a sack from Fisk, a sack from Ford, a pick from Durant. The kicker hits everything. Carolina played tough here. I mean, they should continue to improve next year. They almost had the upset, too. Although Hubbard might, so something like he might leave because he was pissed at his lack of carries later in the season. Bryce Young, 264 yards, a TD, a pick. He sacked twice. Hubbard has 46 yards rushing on 13 carries, 2 TDs. Bryce Young adds a rushing TD. Coker has a receiving TD and 9 catches for 134 yards. Etienne loses a fumble. They get a sack from Gibson. That's the only sack. Mike Jackson has the pick. Their kicker hits his 1 field goal and all of his extra points. It was a tighter game. I thought the Rams would take care of business a little easier there, but the Rams. The Panthers did have a losing record, but they were playing pretty solid all year. On to the next game. The Bears beat the Packers 31-27. Bears came back in this game. I want to say they were down like 21-3 at the half or something like that. Packers kind of fall apart, but the Bears with a nice comeback. Love 323 yards, 4 TDs, no picks. He sacked once. Jacobs 55 yards rushing. To lead the way. Dobbs 8 catches, 124 yards and a TD. Golden, Reed, and Watson also have receiving TDs. They fumble 4 times as a team, but don't lose any. They get a sack from Van Ness. That's the only sack. Picks from Hopper and Valentine. Here's a big reason they lost. McManus 0 for 2 on his field goals, and he misses an extra point. So there's 7 points right there. Good chance he's not on the team next year. I don't know how long. I don't know how long the first field goal attempt was. I think the second one was in the 40s, maybe. Caleb Williams, 2 TDs, 2 picks, 361 yards passing. He sacked 1 time. Swift, 54 yards rushing and a TD. Loveland, 8 catches, 137 yards. Moore has a receiving TD, and number 14 has a receiving TD. Booker has a sack, the only sack. Their kicker's 3 for 3 with a long 51 on his field goals, and he has his extra points. So really, special teams wins the game for the Bears there. Nice little I'm pretty sure it was 21-3 at the half, right? Let me see. Yeah, 20. Yeah, they missed a field goal. How long was that field goal before the half? It might have been super long. It was a 55-yarder in this day and age. I don't know. He missed another field goal in the 4th that would have actually given him a 6-point lead. This one was shorter than. Whoops. Oh my God. A 44-yarder. You gotta hit it. Because that would have changed the dynamic there at the end. That does not say they wouldn't have won. They would have won, but... So the Bears move on. Nice win for them. They will be playing the Rams in the divisional round. On to those were the Saturday games. Sunday games. Bills, of course, win. So Denver's got to play the Bills. 27-24. This was another back and forth kind of game, especially at the end. And the Bills get it done. But what was this? I want to see something. Oh. No, because Buffalo's up 13-7. And then it was 13-10 going into the fourth. And then the scoring started to pick up. Josh Allen, 273, a TD, no picks, he sacked once. Of course, he rushes for 2 TDs. Cook has 46 yards rushing. They didn't run the ball well. 3-yard average on 79. 79 yards on 26 carries. Shakir, 12 catches, 82 yards to lead the way receiving. Kincaid has a receiving TD. Ray Davis loses a fumble. A sack from Rousseau, that's it. Picks from Thompson and Bishop. Their kicker hits everything. Prater. So McManus is a former Bronco. He shit the bed for Packers. Prater's a former Bronco. And he did not. They might have been a missed field goal by the Jags, I'll have to say. Lawrence, 207, 3 TDs, 2 picks. He sacked once. Etienne Jr., 67 yards rushing. Jooten added 51 yards rushing on 4 carries. Washington, 7 catches, 107 yards in a TD. Etienne Jr. and Thomas Jr. had receiving TDs. Hines Allen has a sack. No picks. Their kicker does miss a field goal. I don't know how long it was. It might have been before the half, that field goal attempt. I don't know. So this is why I sit here and say, you know, I'll get the Bills. Realistically, the favorite to get to the Super Bowl, because that experience is key. What they just did to the Jags in the playoffs, right, in this game, is what the Chiefs would have done to the Bills if the Chiefs were in the playoffs again. So the Bills avoiding the Chiefs literally could get them, at the very least, to the Super Bowl. Because that was their true nemesis. They couldn't handle them. Every game's tight, except the first time they played. I don't think it was a tight game. The next 3 were all... Chiefs are going to get it done. They're going to be the ones getting the last points. Their D is going to make the stop. They're gone now. So the Bills can take that mantle up against these other inexperienced teams in a lot of cases. This is their best opportunity, as crazy as it is, even coming in and having to go on the road. If they do, 3 times. They've won one of those games. Technically, they only have to... No, they have to go on the road 3 times. No, yes, they would. Because the Texans were a higher seed. But this is their opportunity to get there. All it takes is one team not being there. It sucks in a way that because they'll give you shit and be like, well, you couldn't, the Chiefs weren't there. Well, the Chiefs should have got there. Right? You could say that. Although it wouldn't have mattered this year if they did, because Mahomes is hurt. But that's how fans work and people work. Well, they didn't get over their nemesis, the Chiefs, in the playoffs. So it's not legit. That's the weird shit people do. It's the weird shit fans do. And now on to the NFC games. San Francisco beats the Eagles 23-19. Let me see something real quick. All right, now the Bears won at home. The Panthers lost at home. The Jags lost at home. And the Eagles lost at home. 23-19 Niners over Eagles. They did lose Kittle for the year. It might be Achilles tear, I think. What is it with the 49ers? Who is their, conditioning? What are they doing in their workouts and their stretches and shit? Why didn't their whole team, get hurt the last, 3 years? It's weird. Purdy, 2 TDs, 2 picks. He sacked once, 269 yards. Jennings comes in, the receiver. 1 for 129 yards and a passing TD. McCaffrey, 48 yards rushing. Robinson, 6 catches, 111 yards and a TD. McCaffrey has the 6 catches, 66 yards. 2 TDs. Kid almost got hurt pretty early. I don't know. They get a sack from White. That's it. Their kicker hits his field goal and has missed one of his extra points. Did not bite him. Hurts a TD, no picks, 68 yards. He sacked one time. Barkley, 106 yards rushing. Goddard has a rushing TD on a carry for a yard. Smith, 8 catches, 70 yards to lead the way. Goddard has a receiving TD as well. They get a sack from Carter. 2 picks from Mitchell. Their kicker hits. No, he misses extra point as well. Hits his field goal, so. And now Hurts will get the fraud. Because people give Hurt shit regardless, even though he's been to 2 Super Bowls and won one. He's that guy like, oh, he's not, like, sometimes he's not doing enough, right? So, they're moving on. They play the Seahawks. I forgot, like, the team, Denver and the Seahawks have a bye. And I'm like, wait, where's the other teams? Oh, wait, they have the bye. Pats beat the Chargers 16-3. Chargers, Herbert doesn't have a win yet in the playoffs, so they're getting on him now. He was 159, no TDs, no picks. He sacked 6 times. He has 57 yards rushing to lead the way as well. McConkey 3 for 32 to lead the way receiving. Herbert fumbles twice and loses 1. Number 98, Owa. 3 sacks. Tart has a sack. Tupeluto has a sack. Pick from Henley, not Don Henley. And the kicker hits his 121-yard field goal. Drake May, 268 a TD and a pick. He sacked 5 times. So there's 7 sacks in this game. Chargers have a good team. Pats apparently do too. So that's why it's low scoring. May leads the way as well for 66 yards rushing. Stevenson has 53 as well. They run for 146 as a team. Stevenson has 3 catches for 75 yards to lead the way. Hunter Henry has the receiving TD. May fumbles twice and loses 1. A sack from Jones, 2 sacks from Williams, 2 sacks from Chason, a sack from Jennings. The kicker hits everything. And the final game. This game was 7-6 going into the 4th quarter. But the Texans beat the Steelers 30-6 to then play the Patriots. That's going to be a low-scoring game, too, I think. Stroud, a TD, a pick. He sacked 3 times, 250 passing. Marks, 112 yards of rushing and a TD. Chubb gets in there with 48 as well. Kirk, 8 catches, 144 yards and a TD receiving. Stroud fumbles 5 times and loses 2. Jesus. Like, I was looking at the stats. I was like, 36, wow. I had gone to sleep, and I think it was sometime in the 3rd quarter. I was like, what happened here at 36? And then I'm looking at the stats. I'm like, damn, he had 2 picks. He fumbled twice. The D won the game here. I think they had a pick return, too. He had the 2 passing TDs, but man, dude, like, if he loses all 5 of those fumbles, it's going to be a different game. But their D is the best in the league, so they played it. Half sack for Anderson Jr., sack and a half from Rankins, a sack from Hunter, half sack from Autry, a half sack from Barnett. Bullock has the pick for 50 yards, and it is a TD. Their kicker hits his 1 field goal. Misses an extra point. 3 for 4. A lot of people miss extra points. It did not matter. Rodgers for the Steelers, 146. No TDs and a pick. He sacked 4 times. Rudolph comes in 1 for 1, 2 yards. Warren, 43 yards of rushing. Metcalf, 2 catches, 42 yards. Rodgers fumbles twice and loses 1. Harmon has a sack. Benton has a sack. And Sawyer has a sack. Pick from Eccles. Their kicker hits his 2 field goals. I gotta go to the divisional round. I was looking at the Steelers on Football Reference earlier, and I know they haven't won a playoff game now in, like, has it been the last 6 tries? That's nuts. And I was looking at Mike Tomlin, great coach. I'm not going to say he's not an incredible coach, but it's crazy. He has 8 playoff. He's 8-12 playoff, 8-12 in the playoffs as a coach. 5 of his wins came in his first 4 years. His first 3 playoff appearances in his first 4 years as coach. 5 of those wins came then. He was 5-2. They lost one Super Bowl. So he's 3-10 in his last since then. That's nuts. The fact that you kind of put some of these franchises, and maybe you shouldn't, on like a pedestal, because the Steelers are a historically great franchise. They have 6 titles. They've been to 8 Super Bowls, 6-2 in Super Bowls. They lost to the Cowboys and Packers. But holy shit, the fact that they have not won a playoff game in years, and they're toiling, is that the word? In this, I looked at their records like the last 5 years. It's like 9-8. Maybe they were 9-7, 10-7, 10-7, 10-7. Something's got to change there, because you're going to be stuck in this. Okay, we're going to get in the playoffs and immediately lose. They got destroyed in the fourth quarter, and even if they don't, they're not winning. They couldn't do shit offensively. The Texans have a great team. Something needs to change there, though, because for a franchise like that to be stuck in kind of this slightly above average team is weird. Because as long as I know, been a football fan, Steelers have always been pretty solid. Even in the 90s, they went to one Super Bowl. They had some other good years in the 90s. In 2000s, they went to a bunch of. They couldn't get past the Patriots a bunch of times. But it's just weird seeing, like, holy shit, they haven't won a playoff. Because certain franchises in the NFL, any sport, you hold to the highest of standards. Now, the Patriots, with Brady, would have had that standard. But they had such an incredible run over such a span of time. Now a new run could be coming, or at least that run that they had is not going to happen again. I don't think any team's going to do that kind of run. The Chiefs could. Depends on what happens next year and how they bounce back. The Chiefs were doing that. I mean, they went to 5 Super Bowls. And they threw an AFC championship or 2 into the mix as well. In fact, their run is just as good as that last Patriots run. If not, it's about the same, right? Kind of nuts. The Chiefs were doing it and still can do it. It depends on what happens when they come back. I don't think they're going to have that longevity that the Patriots had. Because the Patriots had like 2 runs, The first one where they won the first 3 and lost the 2. Then there was a little bit of, they won it in 03, right? No, it's 03 and 04 seasons, right? And they won the one in the 2001 season. Then it was 2 years they didn't make it. Then they lost to the Giants. Then they didn't make it for like 3 years, and then they lost to the Giants again. Then it was about 4 years, and then the next run started, right? Or 3 years it was, 3-4 years. Whatever, anyway. On to next round. I gotta be honest as a Broncos fan. Wait, Denver's a 1.5 point favorite now. Yesterday they were an underdog by 1.5, which I had no gripe with personally. I know the Bills are gonna be, their starting safety's gone, and one of their receivers is gone. I don't know where they're 1.5 all of a sudden. That's going to be a tight game, I think. I just, I could sit here and as a fan and be like, Denver's going to win by this score as a fan. In my heart and brain, it should be my heart doing that. In my brain, I think the Bills win this game. Just because of the experience. And something's off with Denver, although it could just continue. They just continue to win these tight games throughout the rest of the playoffs. You never know. I think it's going to be a tight game, though. I don't have a problem as a fan saying these things. I want them to win, of course. Do I think they can win? Yes. But if I'm speaking from my brain, logically, the experience is the thing. And they're not... Defensively, they're solid. They're a good defensive team. Offensively, they got to prove it in the playoffs. They have to prove it. Now, if they lose this game 30-27, and the D just falls apart, which could happen, but Knicks plays well, and the offense plays well, so be it. You lost, but hey, offense did something. You're still going to get called a fraud because people are chomping at the bit to call somebody a fraud, right? I don't know. I don't even want to say. I would probably go Bills if I was a betting man. My heart says Broncos, of course. As a fan, I'm going to say Broncos. I wanted to win, but as a betting man, I'm not good picking the games regardless. Pats and Texans. This is gonna be like the 7-6, 9-7 game. This is gonna be. I can't tell you who's gonna win this. Patriots are 3-point favorite at the moment. I don't know who's gonna win that. That's gonna be a low scoring game. I think I'll tell you that much. And I'll be wrong. I'll be wrong on everything. That's a tight game too. I hate picking. I hate being those people's predictions. It's just annoying because it's just like, it doesn't matter. You're wrong. It's like, well, you didn't know what you're doing. Yeah, that's what you get for saying so and so. Of course, I don't know who's gonna win. You know, I'd say the Patriots win a low scoring game, or the Texans win a low scoring game. But the Bills, if the Bills do win, they will have to travel on the road again, regardless of who wins that other game, because they're the lowest seed. I wanted the Chargers to beat the Patriots because I think the Denver would have a much better chance against the Chargers. That's not. The Broncos are this team where they could beat every team they play, and they could lose to everyone. I can't sit here and confidently say Denver will beat the Bills. I couldn't sit here and say confidently they would beat the Texans or the Patriots or the Steelers or the Chargers or the Jaguars. And Jaguars went into Denver and beat them a couple of weeks ago. That's the thing with this Denver team. Like, Denver teams in the past of the playoffs, even if they lost the playoff game, I could at least be confident in thinking they would win. But this team, like, it's just a weird team. It's a weird team. NFC, Seahawks, 49ers. Seahawks are 7.5-point favorites. That's because Kittle's now out. They got other guys banged up. They've been banged up all year. I think that's another game that could be low scoring. But you got to go by Darnold, who was he on? It was the Vikings last year, right, where he just shit the bed in his playoff game. Does that happen again for the Seattle? I don't know. I'm going to say the 49ers cover that spread at the very least. I don't know who's winning these games. 49ers win, but they lose. Seahawks win. Final game, Bears-Rams. Rams are 3.5-point favorite. Which, again, if you're a Bears fan, you can't get pissed about that. The same thing I wouldn't get pissed when Denver was 1.5 favorite. That might switch. It might end up being an even line at a point. Unless somebody else is hurt on the Bills, that switched. I know their starting safety's gone. And one of their receivers, who I think was banged up all year anyway. Doesn't matter. They have Josh Allen, and the Chiefs aren't there. The Chiefs aren't there, so and with the teams that are in the playoffs, it's like by, what's the word? Default, they're the most clutch team in the playoffs, even though they've not been to a Super Bowl with Josh Allen. They're the most clutch team right now, because the rest of the teams, I'm not gonna. The Steelers had Rodgers, but it's an older Rodgers. It's just, I don't think anybody was thinking the Steelers were going to beat the Texans. But Bears-Rams going to be a good game. Bears have comebacks as well. They get it done. When you think they're out, they come back and win. So, and Stafford's got a little problem with his finger, one of his fingers. I don't know which one. So they've got the built-in excuse ready just in case they lose at some point. You know how this happens in sports. And the quarter, and he'll be like, it didn't affect my play. This is what's gonna happen, right? They're gonna lose to the Bears, and he's gonna throw like 2 picks, 3 picks, and he's gonna have to be like, it didn't affect my play, but in his mind, he's like, yeah. The analysts and everybody say because his finger was banged up. I love sports. I fucking hate sports. I really do. The only reason I do these recaps of these things is because of you guys. I wouldn't even be recapping this if no one cared. I really wouldn't. I don't care enough. Like Denver win, like I want them to win. If they lose, I'm not going to be overly pissed because I don't have any hatred towards the Bills. They've not beat the Bills in the playoffs. Bills beat them last year. And the Bills beat them in it was 91 season. It was a 92 AFC Championship, a defensive struggle in Buffalo that Denver lost to the Bills 10-7 in the AFC Championship. I think Elway might have gotten hurt in that game. Or did he even? Yeah, he must have played in that game. But I could have sworn, I think Kubiak was their backup. Kubiak. Super Bowl winning coach. But that was a slugfest, 10-7. But I think that's the only 2 times they played in the playoffs until this one. And, I still managed to get a 6-game fucking thing to 25 minutes. I was like, oh yeah. But I like to ramble more about stuff like this, you know. I think you'd have some good games. Though I think most of these games are going to be good. I don't think there's going to be any blowouts. Denver will get beat by like fucking 30. They'll be considered... Peyton better have something dialed in at least. If they lose, they better go out swinging. They really better. Because if you lose to the Bills 24-21, you don't have to feel bad about it. They'll still call you frauds, but you played tough. And the Bills right now, I think, would be the favorite in the AFC, honestly. And it's insane to say. Even though they've been on the road. They're going to win every close game right now. They have to take up the mantle or whatever of what the Chiefs were doing, winning all these close playoff games. Now they have to take it in the AFC. This is their chance, man. This is the Bills' chance. You know, as a Bills fan, you got to be confident. You know, it's similar to this. Even though Denver lost to the Steelers in this championship, Denver's 8-2 in AFC championships. But in 05 season, it was the 06 AFC championship. They lost to the Steelers in Denver. Actually, that game was rough from the start. I think it was like 34-17. And Denver had gotten blown out in Indy by the Colts 2 years in a row. The Steelers beat the Colts in the 2006 playoffs. The Steelers obviously ended up winning the Super Bowl. They beat Seattle. But I was like, oh, great. Indy's gone. Denver has a more legit chance, even in Denver. Because Denver can't beat Indy. They lost to him against Andrew Luck as well in Denver. They may have beaten him at some point in another point in time. I don't know. In the 70s maybe, or the 80s. I don't know. All their playoff history. But I don't think they have. Maybe they did. Or maybe they lost him again. But Denver has success against certain teams. The Patriots they have success against in the playoffs. They don't have success against, well, I think they only played them twice, the Ravens. The Patriots, the Steelers, they have success against typically too. Since I've been a fan, they've beaten the Steelers once. There's a game I remember them beating the Steelers when I was in like 5th grade, I think it was. I think it's the year Denver got destroyed by the 49ers in the Super Bowl. They beat them that year. They beat them in the AFC Championship, their first Super Bowl win. They lost to him in that 05 championship. They beat him with Peyton once, at least. They beat him with Tebow in the overtime game. The touchdown to Demaryius Thomas. That's the one time Brady beat the Broncos in the playoffs. He's 1-3 against them. See, that's what Manning needed to consistently, even though he couldn't beat him in the regular season. He's 3-2 against Brady in the playoffs. He's got that at least. 5 less Super Bowls, but he does have that. It's funny, that's how like Brady's stuff is so nuts. 7-3 in Super Bowls. It's like Peyton's 1-2. He went to 4. For with most quarterbacks, holy shit, you went to 4 Super Bowls? That's nuts. But compared to guys like, really just compared to Brady, it's nuts. It looks crazy. It looks like he didn't do anything. Although that last season when Denver won the Super Bowl, Manning had moments in the playoffs for sure, but that was the defense carrying them. He all of a sudden became a game manager, which is nuts. But the fact that he was able to come back from that neck, it was a neck injury, right, like nerves and shit, and actually get 4 more years, 3 of which were great, even though he was starting to feel the effects in the 2014 season. Like the bottom, the last third of that 24 season, you could tell something was wrong. The fact that he was able to, his Denver career, the 4 years, is kind of nuts. He wins a Super Bowl, he goes to 2. They win the division 4 times. He loses a Super Bowl. I mean, shit, dude. It was worth it for Denver to get him, even though they didn't do shit afterwards until last year. That's what happens sometimes. You gotta make that kind of pull and then suck for a bit. Anyway. rambling about football here. Divisional round coming up next week. Wild card round recap. How's your team doing? Are you still in there? And thanks for checking this out.